Hello. Hello, all my lovely, lovely friends. How is everybody doing today? I hope you are well. So, if you caught my live last night, you caught nighttime Jammy Jackie, who swears quite a bit. I rewatched that this morning and I was like, oh, wow, I really was. I really was having a little bit of a state of being, wasn't I? Oh well. Oh well. This is what you come here for. You're gonna get what you get and you don't throw a fit. How about that? How about that? But good morning. You have lovely daytime work Jackie today who will only say fuck a few times. There's your beginning. Not even a minute into the live. Good morning. Good morning. Let me pull the chat up. Hello, baby doll. Hello, Candace Ram and Donna and DIY with Erica. I I I know that anything is okay. This is my house. This is my channel, and I'll say what I want when I want to say it. So if you have a problem with that, you can come leave the way you came in. Pork salad, Annie. I hope I don't disappoint you. Philip Brooker, no. Okay, this is how you're going to know if Wendy's arrested because I'm going to start the stream. All of my kids will be in here, and we're just going to send off the confetti cannons. I have many of them ready just for this sake. Hello, Germain and Crystal and Brandy Sky and Karen and Tamra and LW and Bobasaur, of course, somebody starts crying as soon as I get on here. And Misunderstood, and Joy, and Basti. Is that Basti or Basty? You tell me. And Matt, and Amy, and Steve V. von Hondorf. Or Hondorf. All right, so how is everybody doing today? And Darla. Okay, I think the yelling has ceased, and not today in watercolor rhyme. Okay, so last night I had some shit to say already, and obviously I said it, but I felt bad because I didn't get to interact with you guys as much as I like to. Um, yes, Donna. Oh, I was already so fired up. I was so fired up. Oh, good, Jay-Z. I'm glad you are. Oh, Jay-Z. Haha. LOL. Weren't you somebody else? Weren't you somebody else? I remember this bunny picture. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate it. I know. If I had a swear jar, I don't know. I'd have to make it work so that every time I swear, somebody gives me a quarter or something. And then I'd be rich. All right, the kids are downstairs playing. So, hi, Dora from Long Island. Okay. See, he's got to know what's going on. Okay, there's no way that I know if he doesn't know. There's no way that we are aware of it and he is not. There's a reason why he sat through the majority of that trial last time. I'm setting my phone. All right, so I do have a couple things that I want to talk about. Ugh. All right, sorry. I have good. See, for every one person that doesn't like me, there's 1,000 other that do. So I'm fine. Yes, Tamara. Yes, because she was planning on changing their names. The question is, Wendy signed boys up for daycare / preschool in Miami under the last name Adelson. Yeah. Yeah. Hi from the Netherlands. I've always wanted to go there, Eddie. Before Dan was murdered. Okay, so the name the name change before Dan was murdered was on the invitation for Harvey's birthday. Okay, Harvey's birthday is what, the 5th, I think, the 5th of July. And when Donna sent out the invitations for that, she sent it out to Ben and Lincoln Adelson, which doesn't even sound right. Like, personally, their names sound much better with the last name Markel, and obviously I'm biased because I hate all Adelson anything. But yeah, okay. Yes, Barbastor. Yes. Yes. If I was my brain, how much I hate Wendy with an I, having never met her. Same. 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 I despise this woman. Ooh. Victoria in Miami says, I just realized that on Tubi Live, Court TV has an actual channel, so I please ignore the crying. I'm sure I'll hear what the issue is in 1 second.
My best friend sat next to her at a bat mitzvah. He refers to her, just so you know what it's like in the community, he calls her the murderer in common conversation. He was convinced. I don't know, I mean, a lot of people, and that's not from what my take on it, that's his take on it. Right. He knows I could be crazed. He had to sit next to her at a bat mitzvah for 4 hours. She's cracking jokes about Danny getting his head blown off.
Head blown off?
Yes, cracking. And I can't remember the exact joke, but that was how he put it, at least. And he said he looked at her and said, well, yeah, that's totally inappropriate.
Where was this at?
So it was the Andrew Epstein's daughter's bar mitzvah. And in the morning when she was here, it was a church ceremony in the morning, the party at night. In the morning one, she sobbed through the whole thing. And whenever anybody asked her, like, what's going on, she didn't say I'm sad. She said I'm nervous, I'm anxious.
Our little baby Wendy Pooh was nervous? I can't imagine what about. Could it be the intrusive visuals that at any given moment the feds would pop up from a table and take you to the ground? Thank you for calling the murderer. How may I help you? Hey there, Wendy, Detective Ice, I'm calling. Is this an okay time to talk? Not really. I won't take up too much of your time then. I hear you're in town. Yeah, who told you that? Just heard through the grapevine that you were at the Epstein's daughter's bat mitzvah. Yeah, I'm kind of busy. I know, you're just sitting there cracking some jokes, and then suddenly a familiar song. What you want, what you want, what you gonna do? Detective Ice, how do you know I was telling jokes? I have ways of finding stuff out. You know, we've been hoping you'd make a little visit up here, save us the trouble of going down to Miami. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna I figured I'd make it easy on you and just meet you here. We've been working really hard on this case, and we thought you'd be pleased to hear that we tracked down our #1 suspect. Oh, yeah? Yeah, we really wanted to tell you in person that we're ready to make an arrest.
Good. Cuffs. Hand. Other arm. You good, buddy? Hey, you good? Hey, roll him up. You good? Sit up. Just stay right there.
How's this for awkward? My best friend sat next to her at a bat mitzvah. He refers.
Okay. Sorry if you can hear him. He's having a fit and he doesn't want to be spoken to. All right, let me play the Wendy song and then I'll get back to you.
thought you planned the perfect crime. It was just too good to be true. You say you're a lawyer and how smart you are, but you should have thought twice before hopping in your car. Arrogance, excitement, both got in the way, and you royally fucked up on that super special day. You needed to see and you just couldn't wait. It even made you late for your little lunch date. You thought maybe I'll go, just take a little look. You just had to go and see the life you just took. Wendy, Wendy, you should have thought. You sure messed this one up, you just can't be taught. You couldn't help it, just needed to see. Thought you could talk your way out, they'll never catch me. You're too rich, you're too smart, you're too pretty, you're on fire. And one thing's for sure, you're the biggest liar. You wanted it your way, you're such a brat. You think so highly of yourself, an aristocrat. Had to go live in Miami, you thought it was the best. Trust me, you'll still be with your family in prison like the rest. First Charlie, then Donna, and baby, you're next. You shouldn't have sent that, this is sweet text. So get your shit together, you'll look good in prison blues. This is what happens when you never think you lose. Wendy, Wendy, you should have had some self-control. You were the only one in tally, that was your only role. Donna will wash the money, and Charlie's one to think. But you, my blue-eyed baby, you are the weakest link. You're too rich, you're too smart, you're too pretty, you're on fire. But one thing for sure, you are the biggest liar. Sweetie, you're a lawyer, so when you take the stand, you should rehearse a little better, say your lines as they were planned. I know you get thrown off when Georgia talks about your book. The one thing you perfected is your dumb, confused dog look. So put on your only outfit and test it fair again. Seal the fate on one more family member. Sad the Adelsons didn't win. Wendy, Wendy, this is all about you. Your decade of freedom was too good to be true. Your family had it all, you were a pillar of the community. But you'll be the next one cuffed, cause you're a killer with no immunity. Baby, soak it up, your last days in the sun. Cause after Georgia's done with Donna, then baby, you're done.
How great would that have been to watch her ass get hauled off right right from the witness stand? I was kind of hoping that they'd put like an open bear trap back there, so as soon as she stepped in, clamp right down on her leg. Sorry if that blew out your eardrums. I forgot about the microphone. Okay, so back to normal business. All right. Since we've got the Wendy video pulled up, I've got a few things that I'd like to share with you. Let me show you my favorite parts. Okay, let me talk to you first. Let me talk to the couple of questions I have up here, comments, things that I want to talk about. Okay, Tamara says a content creator said she signed them up in Miami under Adelson before it happened to Dan. I have no personal knowledge of that, but it would not surprise me in the slightest. And I would also like to know who has that information, because not that I'm saying like you're a liar, you tell me who said that, but I always like to see exactly where this is coming from. Also, again, not because I think you're a liar or they're a liar. I like to get to the bottom of things. Jay-Z asks if I think that Wendy was given a heads up about an indictment. I don't think she was giving a heads up, but I think you would have to be an absolute idiot not to realize that you were next, especially after, I mean, literally, they're going right down the line at your family. And John Lauro sat in the courtroom after Wendy had testified. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the first trial that he's done that, because I feel like every other trial he's just left with her and then we haven't seen him again. So is he trying to see what the state has on her? Because that's kind of what it seems like. Also, the fruit flies are gone. Finally. It only took like 2 weeks, but they've all deceased themselves. Drew, I also feel bad for Ben and Lincoln. The kids are growing up without parents and knowing your family because they're dead. I just can't even, like, I can't even begin to wrap my head around going through the trauma of your dad, not only just losing your dad in like a way that is like expected, like if he was sick or like even like an accident, like a car accident or something, that would be bad enough. Having your father murdered is a whole nother level. And then on top of that, finding out one by one that your family was involved in it has got to be just like, I have no words. Like, I can't even imagine what those poor kids are going through. Like, the level of trust issues that these boys are going to have because of this, of, here, your dad has been taken away from you, and you are so isolated to this family that has been just the Adelsons around them. And then to one by one see each and every one of them go to prison for the murder of your father. And like now, they were 3 and almost 5 when Dan was killed. Ben's birthday, poor little Ben, his birthday is literally 10 days after Dan died, which is 11 days after he was shot. So what would that make them now? 16 and 15? Because Lincoln, I think they were very close in age. So I don't know Lincoln's exact birthday, but I think they're only like a year apart, maybe a little more than a year apart. I mean, like they were babies when this happened. And let me tell you, they remembered that 100%, 100%. Um, okay. Fuck is my favorite word too. So this is the problem. When I start getting all riled up, and I was in a state last night. I almost didn't come on because my mouth was bothering me a little bit, but then I got it to feel better. For those who don't know, I broke a tooth like last week and it's been killing me ever since. But not always. So thankfully that's fine. But my brain will work faster than my mouth does. So I think my interjection of the word fucking into everything is just like to give me some time to catch up with, like, my thoughts and my mouth and everything just goes together. Okay. So, baby doll, thank you. I pantomimed making out with Georgia last night because I also have a man. I've been married for, geez, how long have I been married? 12 years now. We've been together for 16 years. So. All right. But yeah, I'm like, I just want to make out with Georgia, like not in a gay way, but just in an appreciation way. And I literally just said the fruit flies are gone. And I swear to God, I think I just saw one. Or maybe I just have like phantom fruit fly visions because I'm so used to seeing them all the time. All right. And Donna does have fucks to give, and she's gifting them to you, the good Donna. JC got sent home from work for saying, I don't give a fuck what you do. Mean, unnecessary, not on your part, on their part. Yes, Roxanne. Santa. I listened to that too. So on STS and not under the lives, but in like the video section. So what they've been doing, and I've been trying to do this with my channel, also is kind of take out some important clips out of, obviously they do longer lives. So I've been trying to take out some of my clips also out of my, longer 2.5 hour long videos that obviously not everybody has the time or patience to watch. Um, but yeah, freaking Stephen Webster, who was Danny's attorney at the time that he was killed, yes, he said that, he found out that Danny was still, seeing Wendy in person. And he was so afraid that she was going to do something, which I think that's exactly what she was trying to do. Her whole, like, oh, he's so mean to me, blah, 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 and trying to, piss him off as much as she could. She was trying to incite something so he would react to her 100%, 100%. Baby doll says, y'all think Donna blew up? Wait till Wendy gets a hold of commissary. Seriously. Seriously. And her head probably does swivel like an owl. She's got the giant owl eyes. She looks like a freaking lunatic half the time. Thank you. I'm glad you like the song. Oh, and fun news. It's on Spotify now. I can't even tell you how tickled that makes me, and I sent it to all my kids this morning, and to no response. I didn't even, I didn't send anything with it. I just sent them a share link to the Spotify account. They probably have no idea what the hell I'm even talking about. Um, but, oh, I thought you said pork salad, Annie. I didn't know it was poke salad. Are you from Polk County, Florida? I can't see what the hairdresser does to her lid. The snitch 2 took my breath away and not in a good way. Do you know what she kind of looks like? Like if Ariana Grande got on crack or something. That's kind of what she reminds me of, like a cracked out. Not like Ariana Grande looks decent right now, but I'm talking about before she went like all Ozempic and crazy. All right, let's see. Thank you. That would be nice. I didn't even know they had that. Victoria in Miami. Victoria in Miami says the Wendy video is epic. Somebody please recommend this channel and Jackie for a YouTube Creator Award. Okay, so actually for real though, I'm on Spotify now. And when I because you have to you basically have to submit your own stuff, and they're like, oh, they're like it could take up to a week, basically. They said, it usually takes, iTunes is a little bit faster, but it usually takes 5 business days for it to go onto Spotify. Well, I was going in my YouTube Creator Studio because that's where I go to reply to all my comments and stuff. And I noticed on my Wendy video that it has, because when you monetize your videos, if you're copyright claimed and can't use the whatever, half of my videos are unmonetized because I'm feel the need to put my best friend's wedding in there like we just watched with that, and that's why there's lines all over it, because it'll actually block it if it's a short and you're using copyright. Well, let me use it, as if my editing is not so good that they think Wendy is Julia Roberts. Come on. But I went in there and I noticed that I had this shared revenue split on my Wendy video, and I'm like, huh, that's weird. I'm like, oh my god, my stuff must be on Spotify. So now I'm getting copyright claimed by myself. But here, okay, here guys, if you go to Spotify and just type in hello, would you like to there we go. Go type in my name and you can find it on Spotify. I put the Wendy song up and I put the Donna song up, and not like anybody knows, but I also have a Charlie song. Okay, so when I recorded the Donna song, the Charlie song, and the Wendy song back in March, and this was well before I had my microphone, so I just had AI sing everything. But but I, I'm going to re-record. I'm gonna do a recording of the songs in my voice too. Um, okay. So, Moth's mommy says, if this brilliant song is a hit, how will they find a jury who's never heard of Wendy? I mean, I feel like there is so much information on YouTube and the like about Donna and, Wendy and the Adelsons in general. But we also have to understand, like, our algorithm is showing us that because that's what we're interested in. Like, half of my kids had no idea who these are. Like, I have to remind them like every single day. I'm like, Donna, the whole, and it's like, it's so difficult to say like a 2-second version of, this whole freaking crime and whatever. Yeah, exactly, Jay-Z. Not everybody is interested in true crime. My hubby wouldn't have a clue about this either if I didn't, make him make him participate. When I was little, I wanted to be a giraffe. What an idiot. What an idiot. And then that video goes on. I found more clips of that. She was like, I was in the circus for a while. I was a contortionist. Like, I hate her stupid face. Um, to be fair to Wendy, my dogs, I used to do that on purpose to my dogs, Laura J. I would just go "Bark," and they'd, tilt their little head, and that's always what Wendy reminds me of when she's on there. I Kaylee, I am certain. Kaylee says I wouldn't be surprised if they're looking in non-extradition countries. I'm sure they're surveilling both of them until they arrest. I'm sure. Aw, Jay-Z's bunnies do the head tilt too. That's adorable. That is adorable. What are you confused about? Oh no, it's AI. Don't be confused. I can sing though. I can sing. And I have graced you with my many songstress talents with the Moana song that I sing and the ground control to Major Scum. Scum. Um, okay. Yeah, if let me know if you remember who said that because I'd be curious to watch that. Yes, yes, yes. They had what was it on? But yeah, Charlie just talked and said Wendy's getting her affairs in order. He just did an interview with somebody. Hold on. And he said she's getting her affairs in order. Da, 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 da. I don't remember what it's on. If you remember what it's on, just tell me in the chat so I'm not sitting here looking at this stuff. I know. Yes. Literally, I'm like sitting here and this is like where my computer is, but it's in my daughter's old room because we have 9 kids, but most of them are grown and gone. So I only have like the 3 little beans now. But obviously, we have I don't know why this window is so hard to close. But we have, I basically moved my computer into this room. Say hi to Spooky Baby. But yeah, I'm like, why are all these fruit flies coming in here? They're never in here. And I go into my daughter's room, their rooms are connected by a door, and there was like 3 deceased bananas in there, completely black, and like with 10,000 families of fruit flies in there. Okay. All right, Casey, we'll talk about that in a minute. And yes, I think it's happening. I think it's going to happen. I think it's happening. And yes, let me tell you something. My husband and I, when we first got together, we were both going through divorces. And it was in Florida, so I'm very familiar with the way that the Florida legal system works in terms of divorce and child custody and everything. But, you know, thankfully, my ex was, pretty mild. We had a pretty good relationship post divorce, but his was a different story. And you know what I've found, having because when we got together, we each had 3 kids. We had 6 kids between the two of us, between the ages of 1 and 4. We each came into the relationship with 3 kids. So we had 3 4-year olds, 2 2-year olds, and a 1-year old. And it was so funny because then we had our 3. That's how we have 9. Um, and just having, like, the 2 boys, I'm like, "Jesus, we had 6 kids between the ages of these 2 boys at one point." It was just crazy. But as and anybody who probably has gone through this and now have kids that are older, or if you're, going through this now and you feel like you're in the trenches, we've always just we've kept the high road. We didn't feel the need to, retort back to any of the exes, bullshit statements that they were making about us because, we knew eventually the kids would be at an appropriate age to talk to them about, whatever was going on. And why add more stress to the kids about being like, no, you need to believe my side of the story. Like whoever talks more is usually wants to make sure that, they get it out first so they're believed, and it's usually, bullshit. Um, yes, RB, it's okay to be late. We'll be talking this whole time. And yes, I will be celebrating when she gets arrested 100%. Um, all right. Okay. Okay. So is your name is it Maggie or Maggie? I don't know. I'm gonna call you Maggie. So, yes, the cable guy and Sarah Youssef will probably both be witnesses in Wendy's case. Okay, so the way that the state tries to play their case, they try to only call, they want to keep it as concise as possible. So they are going to call the witnesses that are going to give the most impact and the most information to their case. So the people that they don't call, you know, it's it's usually just because they didn't need that information to come in. Um, yes, 14 months apart about Ben and Lincoln. Donna and Barbasor both say that. Um, but yeah, I think they're both going to be witnesses in Wendy's trial. Now, I did an entire video about the deposition of Sarah Youssef. It's up on my channel. There's actually 2 versions of it because I must have deleted a portion of my narration like midway through, so I went back um, and re-released the one with there's like 2 or 3 minutes of them like missing narration in the first one that but it had higher views, so I just left it. But this one, the one that is the newer one, has that missing narration. It's about an hour and a half long. Even though it's long, I still feel like it's a pretty easy watch because there's just a lot of information. I didn't do her entire um I don't maybe I did the whole deposition. I don't really remember right now, but it's it's pretty telling. She's got a lot of information about Wendy. First of all, I know, and it still is. It's like not recovered yet, Casey. It's my neck vein. Um, so the whole okay, so Sarah Youssef was Wendy's friend from like 2003 to 2017, I think. And um she basically like one of the main reasons why Sarah stopped being Wendy's friend why she started distancing herself from her wasn't even because of the murder at first. It was because Wendy was literally telling all these guys like, "Oh, you're the only one for me," and just stringing all these guys along, and it just gave Sarah the ick, like, because obviously who does that? Wendy. Wendy, the hoe for show, freaking does that. There's even a spooky leany baby. What did you knock down? There's there's even a part that I have with like six guys standing in a row, like a picture of them, and they all say, "Hi, I'm Wendy's boyfriend." But yeah, she's like, it just made me kind of disgusted to see, her acting like all these guys were the only guy when really she was playing them all and, was being Wendy, was being freaking disgusting. Fucking gross. She is gross. I fucking hate her. I hate her with everything I have inside of my body. All right. Yes, DIY Erica. How sad for the boys. That email, I was just sitting here when we were watching that back. First of all, I'm glad she brought it in because remember when Jeff was talking about the whole Wendy was asking me when kids, develop that autobiographical memory. And then he starts talking about it and the judge is like they do sidebar and then he's like, "Okay, you've got to strike that." Which telling the jury, obviously they can't use it technically in their, in making their decision, but telling the jury to unlisten to something that they've already heard, I feel like is next to impossible. But Georgia brought it all full circle because she was able to say, "Oh, guess what? You know, Donna literally wrote this email saying, "Oh, I don't know. There's no way that Ben could be sad. Kids don't even have a memory before 5 years old," which is not true and bullshit. And I'm around him 25 hours a day, and I've never even seen him sad. Donna, Ben and Lincoln know exactly how you feel about their dad. And they know that if they are sad around you about their dad, that's not going to go over well. You are not going to like it. Kids are very in tune to stuff like that. Even if they've never heard her speak a bad word about him, which they have because they straight up told Dan, like, "Grandma thinks you're stupid. Grandma hates you. You're trying to take her sunshines away for her," which is fucking an insane thing to say to little kids, but whatever. Um, you know, uh, they're not going to show that sort of weakness and like vulnerability around you, knowing that they wouldn't be comforted for it. They might likely even be scolded for it. And who the hell was I watching? Oh, I was watching Guilty Words the other day because everybody keeps talking about that video that she did about Wendy, and I had never seen her channel, so I was so glad. And just for a quick aside, if you guys have any channels that you like, any creators that you watch and you need to share, feel free to share them in my chat. I'm not like a cock block like that. But she's talking about how Wendy makes this mention. She testifies like, "Oh, my mom taught them to, basically remember, know all the 44 presidents, uh, whatever, just like she did to me when I was 4." And she says in there, like, they were basically taught at a very young age that when you perform, you get rewarded. And that's pretty much how all of the Adelsons, except for Rob, I don't consider Rob an Adelson. Rob is Rob. Rob is his own person. Rob is an angel in waiting. Him and his poor wife have been through enough. Whenever I'm talking about the Adelsons, just know Rob is in no part of that. And Rob only lives like an hour from me. And let me tell you, he's an ear, nose, and throat doctor. My God, I'm just so excited to get a sinus infection because I'm going to go right to him and take him an edible arrangement. I don't know why I've been saying edible arrangement like that is the peak gift to give anybody. Okay. All right. So I'm super behind in the chat, but I did come on here mainly because I wanted to chit chat with everybody. Yes, same. I want to see Wendy arrested so bad. Yes, Brandy Sky. What gave me the creeps was Wendy squeezing Harvey's hand when she left the courtroom, still manipulating him. I think it was less for him and more for everybody else, personally. Like, oh, look, I love my dad. I love my parents so much. That's why my mom has been in jail for 2 years and I've never once talked to her. Heart, I love my parents. Such a good daughter. And meanwhile, fucking Jackie Fulford is up there trying to disgrace Rob, being like, how often do you visit your parents? When's the last time you saw them? Sorry, Jackie, they're murderers. We're trying to keep our distance. Like the fuck. She okay. Let's put ourselves in the mind of Rob. Here Rob is. Rob already married Aretha's second wife, only because he was in love with his wife, Aretha, who was, God forbid, not Jewish. Donna threw a hissy fit over this, an absolute fit that she was not Jewish, told Rob that he would be disowned if he had the audacity to marry the person that he loved, gasp. And she went and found him a Jewish woman to get married to. They got married. He broke it off with Aretha, got married to this other woman, annulled it pretty quickly, and I actually have that. That's in my this video, this not protected anymore. Charlie's gonna roll on Wendy video. I kind of go into that. But I've got another video. I literally have like 100 videos that I'm working on right now. But yeah, she says, okay, we're going to disown you if you don't marry this Jewish woman. So he did. And then pretty quickly annulled the marriage and went back to Aretha. But here they are. Okay. Donna just murdered Wendy's ex-husband because she didn't like what they were doing, because they weren't getting their way. Can you imagine being Rob and Aretha and knowing that Donna already disowned you? Like, none of the family even speaks to you anymore because you dared to cross Donna and what she wanted for your life. I can't even imagine, cannot relate, can't imagine. I mean, obviously, everybody wants the best for their kids. But having that sort of need to control everything that your kids do. I mean, and everything is about perception. Everything is about how they look to other people. That's what this entire family has based everything on. Nothing is about love. Yes. Did Donna raise those kids? Wendy's kids? Yes, of course she did. But do you know why? Because she was able to go out and parade them around to tennis practice and this and the other thing. And then she was able to tell all of her friends what a good person she was, because here she is raising Wendy's kids. It was a bargaining chip for her. It was something to give her attention. It was just it was just so, it was for her. Everything is for her. Everything is for not anybody else, but how they are perceived and if they're getting something out of it. And Donna wants to have everybody look at this family in a certain way and think a certain way about them. And that's really why they thought they could get away with this murder. They thought, well, our social stature, status and our wealth and, basically the way that we come off to people, nobody's going to ever think that we did a murder. Do we look like murderers? No, it was the felons that we hired. They're murderers. They look like murderers. They could be the murderers. We'll never be. And I mean, freaking Charlie even says it in the Dolce Vita tape. Well, if the cops come and there's a dead gang member and an oral surgeon standing there, they're not going to come down too hard on me. Charlie, you're a fucking dentist. And not even a real one. Your dad literally bought your fucking way through school, purchased you a fucking bullshit periodontist degree, and then you have freaking, you work all over the damn fucking state doing shoddy ass dental work. Like, thinks too much of himself. The whole family does. The whole family does, really. Thinks way too much of himself. Way too much of himself. Yes. Basti, that info was wild. All the new info that we found was wild. And that's what I've been saying. All these, and not, no offense to anybody who hasn't thought Wendy was gonna get arrested, although I disagree wholeheartedly, and if you've watched any of my content, you know this. But to think that Geor to think that we know everything that Georgia has is kind of obscene. Like, first of all, I'm flattered to anybody that's watched my videos and like, "Oh my god, I Georgia needs to see this, Sarah needs to see this, I need to send this to them." Like, if they knew this, Wendy would be they know this. They know everything that I know, plus so much more, plus so much more. I mean, like, I don't have anything new. I am only connecting the dots for the stuff that we have personally right now, and everything probably for every one piece of evidence that we know, there is at least a half a piece of evidence that we don't. And it was shown in this trial. Look at all the new stuff that we saw. We had mountains of new texts. We have stuff that we haven't even seen yet. Let's talk about the wiretaps that they did. Not the old ones. They did new wiretaps this past spring on Harvey. Let me take a sip of a drink and then I will talk about this because this is quite a fucking tale. All right. All right. Yes, DOA Erica. Nothing we do online impresses our kids. I know. So, and I know not everybody is like freaking psychotically addicted to this case like I am. I feel like most of my chat is, but I'm sure there's at least one of you that's like, what are you talking about? So, they had a hearing, think I think it was I don't know. I don't know if it was it the Arthur hearing? I don't know. It doesn't matter. They had a hearing in front of the judge, and one of the main things that was discussed during this was, oh, the state has new evidence. Why does the state have new evidence? Because the state got a not FBI approved wiretap, like all the wiretaps that we heard that went on in 2016 post bump, all by the FBI. The FBI has no problem wiretapping people. Fine, whatever. They do it all the time. Georgia and Sarah got a state-approved wiretap to tap, and we heard one of them just for a second in open court, Harvey's phone. We know at least they've tapped Harvey's phone. Okay, so this is what happened. So, and I think this information came from Drina. I can't be 100%, but they said last fall, which let me tell you, everything happens for a reason. I was so upset that Donna wasn't getting tried in September, but let me tell you, if that hadn't happened, we wouldn't have had all this new information, which could potentially be enormous for all we know. So they find out late last fall of 2024 that there was additional information from, I'm thinking it came from Drina, but they found out that, and they allege this in court documents, that one of Donna's lawyers, Jackie Fulford, was sneaking in her Apple Watch for Donna to make secret phone calls on to Harvey. Now, you're thinking, why would Donna need to make a phone call to Harvey? Because obviously she has a jail phone. Well, do you know what? The jail lines are recorded, as we've seen, as Donna literally sunk her own ship talking about like, oh, let's go to Vietnam. While she's literally, the freaking call is not hung up yet. So and not only do they have word of this, not only do they have, and they have they have the call detail records. So the calls are coming from inside the house. They literally have the call originating from one of the lawyer's numbers, Jackie Fulford's number, and going straight to Harvey. Okay. Not only that, but they have video surveillance also backing up this claim. And I'm sorry, I don't believe for one hot minute that Georgia would say anything that she didn't know 100%. She is not wasting the court's time. She is not trying to throw, her entire reputation in jeopardy. She's not going to say anything that she doesn't know about. So Jackie Fulford allegedly so much yes, she did 100%. Jackie Fulford allegedly 100% did sneak in her Apple Watch to give it to Donna so she could call Harvey. On these phone calls they are not only discussing the witness bribing stuff that we've all now heard about in court, but they are talking about plans to harm witnesses so they can't testify. Not only do they want people to lie on their behalf, they want to literally break the legs or something of other witnesses so they can't testify. Do you know who they're talking about harming? Rob was mentioned, and Drina Bernhardt's mom. So Donna wanted to off Drina Bernhardt's mom, just like she offed Dan, so she could be the new mom. What a fucking basket case. What an absolute demented piece of shit you are. Why? Probably because she got word that frickin' Drina outed her about the stupid script. I can't even believe it. I can't even believe it. So there's new information. Hold on, I need to shut my door. And you're going to see I'm business on the top and pajama pants on the bottom today, guys. I have pink pajama pants on. I'm in a dress, but I was cold. And I also have slippers on. Are these not the nicest? I hate socks, but I really like slippers. Okay, so back to nothing that is about my pajamas. Okay, so they have all these secret phone calls. Apparently, it is super hard to get a state-approved wiretap. From everything that I've heard from, like, real live lawyers, it's super hard to do. It's rarely done. You have to have basically overwhelming evidence that something is happening that you need a wiretap for, and then you also have to have proof positive that there's no way else that you can get this information. So the fact that they were able to get this wiretap approved shows that obviously they had enough intel already to say, listen, this is what's going on. This is crazy. Like, I can't even believe it. And let me tell you something else. If this turns out to be true, which I'm certain that it is, because I don't think freaking Georgia would tell a lie, Jackie Fulford could not only lose her license, but go to jail for this. Like, this is freaking crazy. This is crazy. So, what I'm thinking is, what are the chances that at some point, and they said, I think they have like 24 or 25 calls that they were able to get off of this wiretap over like, I think it was only like a couple of months. What are the chances that Donna says something to Harvey about Wendy on these wires? I think it's pretty good because this woman is freaking pissed. She's pissed. She's talking to the freaking jail people, for God's sake. Not anything against jail people, but I mean, literally, she knew these people for 11 and a half seconds, and she's already like, I killed people. Like, what a psychopath. What an absolute psychopath. So I think it is very likely that somewhere in those wiretaps, we're going to hear her say something that is damning towards Wendy. Just my opinion. Just my opinion, but I'm pretty certain of that. Okay, and then this has been, I see Amy said I could see Wendy avoiding trial. I could see Wendy wanting to avoid trial, but, I literally breathed this fruit fly into existence. But what does Wendy have to give the state to get a plea deal? I'll wait. Oh, that's right, nothing, because every member of your family is already in prison. For her to get a plea, she would have to have something that the state wanted, and the only thing they want is to see her in prison. So, so, I think that's great. And thank you, all the people that are up at 3 in the morning watching me from Australia. Um, okay, so La Mesa Filipino Food Club says, my favorite is the way that Georgia doesn't always look at Wendy or provide her eye contact. Wendy struggles because she can't read her and mirror or parrot back what she thinks Georgia wants. 100%. Georgia knows exactly how to play Wendy like a fiddle, and I am here for it. I love it. Okay, let's see. Has Wendy spoken to Charlie? No, no. That's the thing. And let me tell you something. On on Donna's little phone call where she talks about fleeing to Vietnam, she and Harvey are talking about, we can't get a hold of Wendy because Wendy tells us that she can't talk to us about the case, so she's not talking to anybody. And Wendy has testified time and time again, my lawyer told me not to speak to any member of my family, blah, blah, blah. And Georgia even calls her out at one point because it's in Charlie's trial. And she says, have you ever confronted your brother about maybe he killed Dan? And she's like, no, my lawyer told me not to talk to my family about the case. And Georgia like starts to go on with the next question. And she's like, how quickly did your lawyer tell you that? And she's like, 2016. She's like, okay, so in any of the time leading up to 2016, did you ever say, hey, did you kill Dan? Well, anyway, they're talking, and let me tell you who was at their house because we saw the guy that was at his house. Remember the guy with the wild tie that came in that was like, we did gourmet club, and that's when we go to each other's house, and basically they hire in a chef to fucking cook them meals and have like fun time at each other's house. Um, he was there. He was the guy that was at the house the night that she was talking about fleeing to Vietnam. He's the one that helped them get their visa, that told them to book the one-way ticket because he thought it'd be cheaper to get a flight back from frickin' Dubai. Lies, 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 and Manila lies. So, just fucking too much. But no, she hasn't talked to anybody. But back to back to my thought process. In the frickin' in this conversation, she's like, we can't get a hold of Wendy because, her lawyer said that we can't, or she said that we can't talk to her. And then apparently their lawyer, Dan, more than likely, talks to Wendy's lawyer. And guess what? Wendy's lawyer never said that. Never said that she couldn't talk to her family. Never once. So the fact that she literally tried to distance herself from her family the instant this bump happened, the instant that, basically the cops were getting word about, you know, the intel that they were, catching on to them, I think is super sus because she's trying the whole time. And every single trial, she's like, "Oh, we're all innocent. My family's innocent. I'm innocent. We're all innocent." I'm sorry, but if my mom was being accused of a fucking crime, a murder against my ex-husband, I would be her number one supporter. I would be talking all the time about her innocence. I would be doing everything I could to free her of this terrible, bullshit that she's being accused of. So, really, really, why would she stop talking to her family if she wasn't guilty as sin? And yes, gay, Wendy was a totally different girl this time. It's getting real. It's getting real for Wendy. I don't think Wendy cared much about Charlie. I think Wendy's like, well, Charlie's a loudmouth. We all knew he was going to be caught. But seeing Donna up there, that's a little more real for her. A little more real for her. Okay. So Chris Papa, I agree. I don't even care about Harvey, to be perfectly honest with you. Okay, so my personal opinion on Harvey. Okay, hold on. Personally, I think Harvey knew. 100%, I think he knew. When Charlie says in the Dolce Vita tapes, he's like, "Yeah, no, my mom hasn't told my dad yet, and it's good because he's gonna fly off the handle." It's not about he didn't know about the murder. They just didn't want them to know that, hey, maybe the FBI is onto us. Sorry. Yeah, we got caught, and not only that, but our wires are, our phones are currently being tapped, and we're literally saying the most incriminating shit over the phone. Probably the two of us. Probably the both of us. Fucking unhinged. These people are unhinged. Okay. Today. No, I don't know when she's going to be arrested. My my feeling deep within my soul, in the feeling of my bones, in my blood, I feel like we will see Wendy in cuffs by September 22nd. Okay. Um and I think that for a couple of reasons. And I posted, like, I was kind of excited about, like, obviously the grand jury is going to be convening, and it looks like they're blocking off a courtroom. And usually, when the courtroom is just blocked off like that, like just a big block, and it doesn't specifically say, here, let's go to my post. And it doesn't specifically say, like, what is in that courtroom for that day, that usually indicates that they're having a grand jury hearing. Okay. So this is up. All right. So, all right. And I accidentally cut the top of this off, but the dates are all the way up on the very top of this. It's just like basically columns for all the courtrooms, and the dates are all the way up on the top. It starts with Monday. So this courtroom is reserved. Now, do you see all these other ones? Juvenile hearings, felony jury trials, felony hearings, civil jury selections. These are all, everything else on the courtroom calendar is labeled except for this. This is just reserved all day. The courtroom is closed and reserved for secret times. That to me screams grand jury. Now, do I know anything about anything? No. But do I feel like I do? Yes. And Luis is still in custody. And Luis was one of the first people to testify. There's no reason why he should still be in Leon County Jail, okay? Charlie is also in the Leon County Jail. And yesterday, Katie McBanoa was transferred from Wakulla County to the Leon County Sheriff's Office. So why do we have all these people suddenly at Leon County Jail? Could it be we are gearing up for a Wendy indictment? Because I think so. I think so. And okay, everybody's like, no, Charlie's not going to testify. Like, that's the whole reason why he didn't testify in Donna's trial. Okay, the grand jury testimony is different than testifying in open court. Grand juries are secret, they are sealed, nobody knows about them. I think Charlie could very well testify in the grand jury hearing and give Wendy up, and it's not going to get out to anybody. Okay, because it's a totally different ball of wax. We're playing with a whole different set of rules here. Okay, this is secret time. This is This is not where everybody and their dog is having a live stream of it. It's a totally different fucking ball game. So that's why I think, and everybody's like, not everybody, but like one person. One person is like, what are you even talking about? Like, I don't see anywhere where it says grand jury. It wouldn't. They're secret. They're secret. We do the secret things in secret. We don't tell people about it. That's what makes it a secret. But yeah, why else would they be in Leon County? And like everybody's like, well, it takes time to transfer people. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It does not take that much time to transfer you out. You have a date to go and you're gone. So I feel like it's not a mistake that all three of these people are there. And yes, maybe you could say, oh, well, they just haven't moved Luis and Charlie yet. Okay, maybe. Why is Katie just being brought in then? Okay? Because let's talk about this. What has Georgia asked Wendy in every single solitary court case? Obviously, the same questions over and over, but specifically about WhatsApp. She's asked her about WhatsApp. She asked her if she's had WhatsApp. And when Wendy has said no, and she finally admitted that, yeah, she does have it and did have it at this time, she goes immediately and starts asking her about if she's had conversations with Katie McBanoa. Specifically, did you ever talk to Katie on WhatsApp, the app that you're claiming not to have? George is not wasting court time with this if she doesn't know the answer already. So I think that Katie is going to be the one to introduce the WhatsApp evidence to the grand jury potentially. Allegedly, come for me. I welcome it. I welcome a fight, a debate, a lively rouse. I think that's what's happening. 100%. Mark my words. You heard it here first. And if I'm wrong, whatever, I'll apologize to nobody because she's still going to get arrested. So that's that. Yes, Kaylee. Yes. Yes. Kaylee says one thing that sticks out to me, like so obvious. She was meeting with friends for lunch looking like a slob, no makeup. I don't leave the house with at least eyeliner, trying to look more distraught. Agree. Agree. And I also think, and I went over this in my Wendy series, I think it's in part 2 of my Wendy series. Okay. And her and Donna both say this, that basically everybody goes on vacation in the summer. They live like this Hamptons fucking style, like idea of what life is that's not really any part of reality. So they just think that, oh, in the summertime, everybody goes away and on vacation. First of all, not everybody's a professor that has the summers off. I know everybody in your circle works at FSU and you think that. And Donna used to be a kindergarten teacher, so she just assumes that like summertime is vacation time. Not for everybody. There's some people that work full all year round, guys. just in case you didn't know that. But I think that one, Dan lived in a really nice area, nice, quiet little neighborhood. They didn't think anybody would even be home to hear the shot. And then they figured, well, if they did hear the shot, they'd probably just think it was a car backfiring or maybe a tree fell or, an electrical storm or something. And I think Wendy fully thought that she could drive over there. There wouldn't be any cops there. Nobody would have known about it. And I think this is kind of backed up by the bullshit that she's saying in uh, the police interview when she's going on and on and on about, well, how did they know to bring him to the hospital? Who called? Did he call? How did they know? And Jane actually at one point hands her the phone because Jane looks it up on Google because she's like, what does everybody know? How is people finding out? What's going she wants to know how this information is traveling. She's very concerned about this, which that would be the last thing you would be concerned about. The last thing you would say, if anything, you would say, oh my God, thank God somebody heard the shot. Like, who heard it? Thank God they called 911. Not, I just want to know if he's alive enough to talk, if he, because at that point, he's a witness. And at that point, you're fucked. If he saw, if he knows anything and he's talking, Wendy is screwed. So she goes on and on and on about that. And I think 100% my theory is she wanted to find him. I think she wanted to find him. I think that's why she set up this whole, let's talk about school this specific day. She literally was like, oh, I don't have a voice all week, so we can't talk all week. Miraculously, I'm not sick anymore on Friday. Let's talk Friday morning right after the gym. So here she has a plausible reason to go over to his house. So I think she sets up this little meeting. "Oh, I called Dan, he wasn't picking up. I thought that was weird, so I just decided to drive by his house, and then I noticed that his garage door was open, so I figured, oh, we were supposed to have this talk anyway. Let me go in, let me check. We'll have this talk real quick, get this out of the way, to talk about what school we wanted to send Ben to, even though she had already signed him up for this freaking school in Tallahassee. Um, and I feel like that's probably one of the reasons why she was dressed down, because she figured that she was gonna find him. She was gonna have this whole fucking meltdown. She was gonna be, equal parts victim and hero when she's the one that's calling 911, when she's the one that, even worse than losing your latex husband is finding his body there. I mean, it's too much. It's too much. She's a piece of shit. She's a piece of shit. And yes, Jay-Z, if you guys haven't seen this video, and I'll play it really quick because it's a quick one. And this is from Sarah Youssef's deposition. It's only 6 minutes long. She told the boys before Dan had passed away. She told the babies before Dan was even gone that, and in her words, from her mouth to Sarah Youssef's mouth to my ears, I just had to tell the kids that they don't have a father anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and play this because fuck this bitch with everything I have. Oh my God, I couldn't hate her anymore.
Sarah commented that she knew how contentious their divorce was. She talks about the day that Danny was killed. She said that she received a call from Wendy on this day. And please listen carefully, as I missed this initially. Quote, I remember Wendy calling me the day that Dan was murdered and telling me that she had just, Dan had been shot and we don't think that he is going to make it, unquote. I had just had one of the worst moments of my life telling the boys they don't have a father anymore.
How fucked up that is how, and I'm sure she said that to them. Like, this is how demented this fucking bitch is.
Wendy, you told the boys that night? And you're telling Sarah that you told them that they don't have a father anymore, while telling her that he has not even passed yet? Wendy didn't even leave the police station until nearly 8 o'clock, in which time she was taken back to her house first to retrieve some overnight essentials and hand off her laptop to the police. And only after that was taken to Lynn and Alan's house where her boys were.
I don't want to be left alone in that house. I want protection. I'm scared. I don't know who this is. I don't.
Okay. Well, you should maybe go and stay. I think you should go stay. Can you go to Lynn and David's?
Alan, yeah. Yeah.
You
they
should.
have lots of bedrooms. I could just.
You
stay
should.
There for
The boys are.
And this is another thing, and I didn't even mention this in the video, and probably because I was just so incensed by all the other nonsensical bullshit. She wasn't even planning on staying the night at where the boys were that night, from the sounds of this. Was she? No. She's like, I want protection. I want protection. The kids are already with other people. Like, woohoo, I have a babysitter for the night. I get to freaking drown my sorrows in Pepto-Bismol and fucking red wine. She wasn't even planning on staying at the house that they were at that night, guys. Like, what the fuck?
There.
Yeah.
And
I need to pick up a few things. I would need my contact lens case. He just said your eyes are really blue.
Right.
And
You have contacts?
I do.
Okay. We're going to get ready to leave here just a minute.
Great.
And I think we determined
I'm
that,
gonna go to my house. I'll
Right.
give you my computer.
right, and passcode or whatever.
Yeah.
And then from there, you're going to go to the friend's house.
I'll pack a bag and we'll go. Okay, so Joanna is gonna come with us.
Yeah.
I think my friend Jane is outside. She said she's parked outside TPD in case I need her, so we can tell her, I guess, that
Jane
that was here.
McPherson?
Yeah, that I don't need her, I guess. I mean, she can come with, but
we just want to make sure you get someplace that you're comfortable, and you've already told me enough reasons that you feel like
I was like, Wendy, you're a fully grown fucking woman. Why are you asking me what we should tell Jane? I don't give a fuck what you do. I hate you.
that maybe whoever did this.
I don't want to go home.
Right. Well, so we're going home just to get the
Okay.
clothing, the computer, and then we can get you on to the
Okay.
other, I can't remember their names now.
Alan and Lynn.
Right.
They live really close to me.
Okay.
You look like you've had a long day.
I have. Okay, so we'll be getting ready to go in just a minute, okay?
Okay, well, I feel like a fierce mama cat right now. Like, I just want to get to my boys. And I know they're fine with Alan and Lynn. Like, and I
Point that
think,
you want to hold them and
Oh
see
my
that they're
God.
okay with your own eyes, and
yeah, I really need to be with them. Will I tell them? I can't see it. I don't want to. Okay, so we think like Danny's not waking up. Like, is that? That's the
Yeah,
thing. And
that's
like,
the
I
one.
don't want to tell my kids that their father is gone if he's not.
Wendy, you were straight up asked if you were going to tell the boys that night.
You said no. The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Like, I don't want to have
do
that.
you think you can be around them tonight without maybe disclosing to them?
I do.
Then maybe it's something you could just wait till the morning till you know a little bit more
Yeah.
certainty.
Is somebody going to tell me? Like, if he doesn't make it and it's like official, is someone going to?
What? I mean,
Her defining his death as official once he's officially dead is so fucked up. This 100% speaks to her knowing, in my opinion, her wanting him dead. I mean, that's the only thing she was concerned about, asking all these questions. What a sick fucking.
I'll know because they'll notify me, because then as when incidents like this happen, they'll have to do an autopsy and things like that. So I can ask the investigator to let me know when. And you know, I think it's good for you tonight to just stay somewhere. And if you think you'd be comfortable tonight, just kind of waiting to see. I do.
You think that makes sense? Like, not just because I am still not.
Well,
what do you tell your children when their father was murdered?
just that, you know, he was really hurt and he had to either, you know, go to heaven, whatever kind of concept that they have on that.
I don't know how. I mean, I said like I don't know how much they get this, but
I
like
think
he was fine. I know, but I'm just trying to figure out how do I go to the house and tell them.
Did Wendy really tell her boys just before bedtime that they didn't have a father anymore and then just send them off to bed? And did this despite the fact that Dan was still alive at this point? Because from the way that she was talking to Jane and saying that Lynn and Alan had a lot of bedrooms, it didn't seem like she was planning on sleeping with her babies that night. And even though I can say that I'm not surprised, because obviously no one even considered that this plan might have had a negative impact on those tender little guys, still, my mama heart was hoping that a shred of decency would prevail here. But I guess not.
Yeah, we guess not is right. Hold on, my cat just opened the door. This is Kitten Mittens. So what the hell is she doing telling her freaking kids? Am I gonna know when it's, like, official, when it's, like, for real, for real? Like, can somebody tell me? Because I wanna know, like, the instant that he's dead. Because 'cause I'm gonna wake my babies up and be like, "Oh, guys, I just heard the news. You don't have a daddy anymore. So sorry. Abba's gone. My latex husband." Well, she's fucking awful. Amy, yes, I hope they call the bar mitzvah guest too. Jeff said, "Oh, my best friend was sitting next to her at a bar mitzvah, and Wendy's cracking jokes about Danny getting his head blown off." What the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, lots, but like seriously, what in the absolute world is wrong with you? What in the world is wrong with you? What in the world is wrong with her, man? I swear to God, I swear to God, there's just no. It's like when you think you can't hate her anymore, you learn something new about her. It's disgusting. Thank you, Tans. I'm glad you liked the 7-part Wendy series. I hope that, well, it seems like it's been kind of making the rounds more that everybody's, kind of salivating for Wendy's arrest, or as my 7-year-old would call it, his mouth would be drizzling for her arrest. Okay. Do we think that Wendy will take the stand in her trial? I don't know. I don't know. I think that she has the capacity to not. I was surprised that Donna didn't, but I 100%. I mean, when Linda Bailey sat up on that witness stand and Georgia was like warming up. Georgia was like getting her fists ready for Donna 100% when she was cross examining Linda Bailey. I loved that. And that's where like all of my clips of Georgia that are in the Wendy song video came from, was the Linda Bailey cross examination, because she was just like, she was ready to go. I don't know. I don't know. I think it'll depend on how um the trial goes. I think it will depend on who she has as a lawyer. But I also think these people think they can talk their way out of anything. I mean, Charlie sat on the stand and was saying just utter nonsense, but because he was saying it in a confident way, he thought it came across believable. It's like, great, you're good at lying because you do it all the time. Like, congratulations for being a fucking constant piece of shit. Like, what do you want to say? Like, oh, I lie so much that like it's second nature, and I can just lie without without skipping a beat. And I don't think he got really that riled up by Georgia, and that's why he thinks he did a good job. But you can say anything you want, but if it's not making sense, it's not making sense. And yeah, Babasaur says, watch Wendy take the stand in her own defense and argue immunity. She probably would. She'd be like, nothing I say here can be used against me, right? Such an idiot. Such an idiot. Yes, a lot of people have really, really early memories. 100%. 100%. Oh, I do like Emily Baker. I haven't seen Auntie Deb though. I will have to. Let me just take a picture of your comment because that's going to be quicker than writing it down. I will check her out. Yes, Bobasaur. Can't you even see that? Them being sad and getting yelled at for it? Like, I mean, and they knew how everybody felt about this. Aw, thank you, RB, for the super chat. That is so, so sweet. I like that is it a little dog with a heart? Thank you so much. I really appreciate the donations. Everything goes back into this channel. I finally just bought a new keyboard, and I love it because my whole like computer setup is from our old office, from our old business. But look at my keyboard. I love it. I'm sure the Markells are not offended by my sailor mouth. You know what? I know I swear, and it's just because I couldn't come on here and be anything but myself. Unlike the Adelsons, I'm exactly who I am, no matter who I'm in front of, the good or the bad with that. And I know where my heart is. I know I'm a good person, even if I say fuck. Like, good people say fuck sometimes, guys, or 150,000 times in 1 2 hour live stream. Yes. All right. Yeah, this is Mitten. She's a fierce mama cat. Actually, she's not. She doesn't have babies. But yes, so I think there was a lot that came out that implicates Wendy, and I think specifically for Donna. And you know what? I would not be surprised if Donna didn't roll on Wendy, to be perfectly honest with you, because I think, when Wendy got up on the stand, the way that Donna was looking at her, she couldn't have been more proud. And she leans it over to Jackie Fulford and like whispers something at one point. She's just standing there like, that's my baby on the stand. Jackie, this is the daughter that I killed for you. This is why I'm going to prison for life. That girl right there, I love her so much. I love her so much. Jolie, can the prosecutor replay this interview in court? Well, didn't the defense play part of it? Yes, the defense played where she called her mom. And just so happened to leave out the part where she was like, I need to lock this door now. Sorry, guys. And just so happened to leave out the part where after the conversation, which I wish Georgia and Sarah would have thrown this in rebuttal, but after the conversation, she was like, "Oh, well," she's talking to the victim advocate. She's like, "Well, my mom sounds surprised, so that's good." She's like, I couldn't. She's like, "My parents are mad enough, at Dan. They would be mad enough at Dan basically to do this, and then they're like, you know, but I'm glad I couldn't deal with that right now," or something like that. It's just couldn't deal with what? The fact that you and your whole family planned this murder? I mean, you did, but you couldn't deal with it right now because you've got other shit to do? Like, fucking insane. Why the words that came out of her mouth at this freaking interview, and everybody's like, people have so much criticism for Isom. People have so many feelings about this interview, interrogation, whatever you want to call it, because he didn't like punch her up against the wall and like demand that she confess to killing Dan. It's like they knew immediately, okay, when they got to Wendy's house or Dan's house. The house is still in Wendy's name. Wendy testifies that it wasn't. It's right in the Tallahassee Police Department reports that I got that the house was in Wendy's name the day they went there for Dan's murder. So immediately, the one officer goes and talks to Mr. Geiger, who says, yeah, they're divorced, blah, blah, blah. They pull the divorce file immediately, okay? And then Isom sends, it was Officer Cockerham, I think is his name, sends him to Wendy's house, not to tell her that Dan's been shot. He sends him to her house to do surveillance on Wendy's house. Okay. The cops got there between 11:20 and 11:30. Okay. I think the 911 call went in just after 11 o'clock. There were actually two. Why it took EMTs so long to get there is like horrific. They put it in as like the wrong number of the wrong, how important it was, I guess, like what level emergency it was. So I think it took like 14 minutes for the ambulance to finally get there. And the cops come right after. So once the cops get there, it's probably around 11:30, and more than likely within a half an hour, 45 minutes is when that officer was sent to Wendy's house. Now, her house is between 13 and 17 minutes from Dan's house, depending on what traffic is, and wasn't sent there to tell her as the next of kin that Dan has been shot. He literally told him, "Go sit there and watch for this woman." Does that sound like a victim to you? Does that sound like Isom was fooled by her bullshit straight from the beginning? No, before he even laid eyes on this bitch, he sent one officer to her house to watch her house to see what she was doing. And then he put Officer Brannon right on the perimeter and said, "This is what her car looks like. If she should come here, let me know." And he did. And he did, because she drove right up to the crime scene tape. And I'm just gonna assume that everybody in here has watched all my videos, but the only house that was blocked off was Dan's. There was literally, the police tape was right between Dan's house and Mr. Geiger's house, which was the next door house. Dan's house is 2116, I think, and Mr. Geiger's house is like 2122. And the police tape was right in between the two of them. So she says, like, "Oh no." Well, she has like 10 different stories about driving down Trescott. I didn't drive down Trescott. I did. I tried to turn, but I didn't. Then I did like a K turn, like a K turn, because I tried to turn. You know when you try to turn but you can't turn, so you do like a K turn. Fuck, I hate this bitch so much. Oh, I've never wanted to freaking curb stomp somebody so bad as I do Wendy. But as soon as she pulls up, and they say this, I think this is in it's either in Sigfredo's trial or Katie's retrial, but and I think it's in Sigfredo's trial, but Brandon is being cross-examined, and he's already said, like, straight up, like, basically, it's Wendy. Wendy pulls up to the crime scene. She acts differently than everybody else. Everybody else was kind of like trying to figure out, like, okay, how far is this blocked off? Like, which way should I go? Blah, blah, blah. Wendy just pulls up and does like a K-turn thing, like a K-turn, like a K-turn thing, like, so she acts differently than everybody else. And, the officer says, "Well, did you pull her over? Did you stop her to see what she was doing there? Did you stop her to tell her, anything that was going on?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "I didn't have a reason to do a traffic stop," because you still have to have, a reason to pull somebody over. Well, Georgia gets up and crosses, and she says, and he said, basically, "I couldn't do that. I was on the perimeter. I couldn't leave. That was my post." And Georgia says, "So, were you told to alert somebody when you saw her vehicle?" And he says, "Yes." And she's like, "Did you alert them?" And he says, "Yes, I alerted the lead detective," which is Isom. And she's like, "Was it your job to find out where Wendy was going and, you know, basically figure out where she was going, i.e., follow her vehicle?" And he's like, "No, that was somebody else's job." So he told Isom immediately, and Isom more than likely put out, an APB like, "Hey, if there's any officers in the area," and let me tell you, freaking there's 1,000 trillion cops in Florida. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. The police departments in Florida are massive. And yes, there's a lot of psychopaths there, but there's a ton of cops. So he probably put a word out immediately and says, "Hey, there is, there's a maroon van pulling away from this. Go follow her," whatever. And that's how I think they found her at lunch, because I think they followed her right from the crime scene to ABC, to the Circle K, to lunch. And, and I have this in a post too. Let me find it. So she goes to ABC Liquor, and then she goes to the Circle K. And the way she's trying to frame it to Isom is as if the Circle K was on the way, okay? All right, I'll show you the map. But anyway, she drives fucking completely out of her way, doesn't have time to shower, doesn't have time to fucking shower, but, I don't have time to shower because I've got to drive fucking like 3 times the mileage that I would normally drive to go Mosaic was, I think, 3.6 miles away from her house, directly west. And you could have literally fucking thrown a rock from Mosaic and hit like 3 separate liquor stores in the same plaza that Mosaic is in. Okay, hold on, let me find this. So much of making fun of Wendy. I've got to find this post because I posted up on here exactly what the map looks like and the mileage so everybody can really get an understanding. But the Circle, okay, here it is. But the Circle K is not even on the fucking like road. Okay. So, can you guys see my, why can't you see my little blinky thing? Okay. All right. Look at, if you can't see my cursor, look at the first map on the left. This is Wendy to Dan's to Circle K to ABC to Mosaic. Okay. So all the way up in the upper right of the left side of the left map, or the right side of the left map, is where Wendy lived. Okay, so she comes all the way down here, all the way down here. She goes up to Dan's house, okay, which I don't even have in this map. I just have this going to, oh, it has you stopping at Circle K first because Google Maps makes sense and Wendy does not. Okay, so the number A. Let's learn our numbers, kids. Number A. The letter A is the Circle K. Okay. The B is ABC. So she goes from Dan's house, which is, and you can't see it in here because I don't have it on here, but she goes from Dan's house all the way to the ABC, which is out, I think the cross street is Benton and Thomasville. And as you can see, B to where this little, red dot is up at the top, the little red, whatever teardrop thing is, that's Mosaic Restaurant. So this is Thomasville. It's a straight line from ABC right up Thomasville to the shopping plaza that Mosaic was in. B is where ABC is. She goes from B to drive a half a mile back towards Dan's house, not even on the same road, which there's no way, and I haven't looked into this, but there's no way there's not a gas station between ABC and Mosaic on a major roadway. And if you live in Tallahassee, just let me know because I'm sure there is. So she goes backwards to the Circle K, maybe to see if somebody was following her, maybe to see if there was cops like running out of Benton, out of, Centerville, Trescott area to follow her. All the way back there, then goes back out to Thomasville, and then goes up to Mosaic. Okay, now the map on the right shows how quick of a drive it would have been from her stupid house on the right here, this little gray and white dot, to Mosaic. Literally, one street, straight left, 3.6 miles away. With the distance going, it was 11 and a half miles if you count to Dan's house, back out of Trescott, down Circle K, over to the ABC, back to Circle K, back to, Thomasville, and up to Mosaic. It's insane the amount of time that she absolutely wasted. So here's just the breakdown of the drive from her house straight to ABC, almost 6 mile drive, and then ABC to Mosaic is another 3.3 miles. So, and I'm pretty sure I have, I put a map up of how close the liquor store is to ABC too. All right, I think it's above this. But there was a liquor store 400 feet away, or not ABC, from Mosaic. There was a liquor store literally 400 feet away from Mosaic. And that was one of 3 liquor stores right in that plaza, right in the very plaza that she was in. I can't find it. Doesn't matter. Take my word for it. Okay. So she's a lying piece of shit, is all I'm trying to get to. The moral of the story is Wendy is a liar. Okay. All right. Yes, Lady Locks, terrible actress. Were you not dead, though, over the new information that came out that Donna looked up how to teach an actress emotions? Was she looking that up for Wendy or herself or both? Probably both. Probably both. Okay. Okay. So I have that. All right, hold on. Because I have it on now they didn't talk about this in open court, but Court TV was able to get I literally looked through like all the things. It's somewhere in the filings, but it's easier for me to just read it right from the Court TV. So this is posted. I don't know. So this is straight from Court TV because they wrote about it. It says, in the defense motion to take depositions, which was redacted and then unsealed following the hearings, Donna's attorneys revealed that the prosecutors disclosed new discovery on April 7th, 2025. The discovery included previously undisclosed investigative work and wiretaps of conversations between a jailhouse informant and Donna's husband, Harvey Adelson. But Donna's attorneys say that the affidavits presented to the judge lied about the content of the conversations between Donna and her husband and alleged that among the false allegations were accusations that the defendants and her spouse were engaged in conversations by the use of the undersigned's cell phone / watch to plan harm to Rob Adelson, Katie McBanawa, and the mother of a jailhouse snitch. Guys, can you even? Can you even? Can you even though? Can you even? Can you even? Because I cannot even. I can't even. I can't freaking even handle it. Like these people, they have nothing, no morals, no ethics, no care for anybody other than their own selves. For everybody. All right. John Smith, I agree. I think Donna wanted to testify too. I think she wanted to testify, but she didn't want Georgia to cross her. She did not want Georgia to cross her. Aw, Tan's 4 a.m. and you're still here. Bless your soul. All right. The lady in pink gave me SNL Linda Richmond. I'll give you a topic. I'm getting verklempt. A chickpea is neither a chick nor a pea. Discuss. I cannot. All right. Okie dokie. Oh, so I was going back and watching Charlie's conviction because I wanted to get that side by side to do both him and Donna, doing the Adelson head bow at the same time. And by my timer, because I figured out how to do a timer on my channel. I was so proud of myself. We were at 3 hours and 20 minutes when everybody started walking back in, and Charlie's timer on the Court TV side was at 3 hours, 13 minutes. So the deliberations were pretty close in terms of time. Oh my God. Okay, so you know how in the victim impact statement, Ruth and Phil both had something super sweet to say about Rob. They both had something just super sweet. Of course, Donna rolls her eyes, fucking the whole time, shaking her head like, what an asshole. Control yourself. Just sit there. Like, she can't even be humble in this moment when you were just found guilty of first degree murder. You can't even control yourself to not sit there like an asshole and shake your head and have this whole display going on while these people are reading their victim impact statements. Like, how very dare you? At least you're going to get to live out the rest of your life, you piece of fucking shit. And I'm sorry, but as a mom of young kids, and seeing that little jail video of everybody just lounging around in their bunk beds with the big flat screen TV, and they could play cards or they could watch their tab, and, breakfast and meds were being brought to them. That looks like a fucking vacation to me. Like, stop complaining, Donna. You're literally, like, this is your life stream. You're going to be weighted on hand and foot, basically. Fuck, I cannot even. What the fuck was I just talking about though? Oh yeah, when they were shaking their fucking heads the whole time. So anyway, I was trying to find some pictures of Rob and Haritha to put on one of the videos that I'm working on. And I get on the Facebook and I find their Facebook page. And can I tell you that I was literally sitting at my dining room table crying because I pull up the one picture that Haritha had for a profile picture. And you know who they're friends with? You know who's friends with both Rob and Haritha? Are Ruth and Phil Markel. And I'm like, it's like seriously makes me so sad because it's like, at least they, can kind of have, a relationship with, kind of a mother, father, son relationship back in some way. And that just like, it touches my wee heart in the most profound way to hear that. Like, it genuinely like makes me actually cry. Real tears, Donna. Real tears. Not the fake ones that you and Wendy. But is that not the sweetest? Is that not the sweetest thing? It genuinely like breaks me, but makes me so happy that at the very least, like, they can have each other in this whole thing. Because obviously this has just been nothing but heartbreak, and really the way that both Ruth and Bill talked about the amount of kids that are left without parents after this whole fucking scheme happened. I mean, I really hadn't even thought about that with here Luisa's kids and Sigfredo and Katie's kids without parents. And Rob's kids are being robbed of grandparents and aunts and uncles. So to see that at the very least they have connected with each other, like, really makes me it made me so happy, and it made me cry, and it made me cry again even just talking about it. Thank you, Brian, for saying hello and hitting the like button. I know I'm so terrible about that when I'm in lives because it's like you're live and you're on the chat and like, why don't they have a live button in the chat? Like, come on, YouTube, get your life together. I know that got me right in the heart. And yes, I wish the jury could have heard the victim impact statements, but you know what? Their job was done. Oh, so I wanted to go live on this forever ago, and I asked that sweet, the adorable little 4-person who is on TikTok and so cute, and I freaking love her, and I wanted her to be on my channel. But do you know who did have her? And you need to go watch it. Is Mentor Lawyer, and he 100% deserves to have her on his channel. But I was listening to Judy from AA Legal Focus actually texted me the link when he was live, and so I got on and I was starting to listen to that. And she said some things that cracked me up. That's why I wanted her on my channel. I'm like, we're like the same person. We could be best friends. um, so he's asking about, and he's probably a way better, not probably. I could probably never interview somebody. I get so off topic so easily. But he's asking her, obviously nobody knew about this case. And she's like, no. She's like, we didn't even really know who the defendant was until court started. Do you know why? Do you know why? Because they couldn't figure out if the defendant was Donna or Jackie. I can't even tell you how many times we joked about that during the trial, but hearing that in real life, I started laughing out loud. I'm like, like, that can't be real life. That is so amazing. I love this girl so much. If you're listening, TikTok girl, please come to my channel next. We can wear jammies and say fuck together. Yay. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. And then he's like, well, what did you think of their arguments? And like, what do you think of, how they handled the case and whatever? And she said, yeah, obviously Georgia and Sarah were very concise, easy to fucking understand. She says, and then Jackie would get up there and she would say something. She would say something like, well, pigs can fly, but did you know that George Washington was our first president? I'm like, there was no better way to say exactly how they did their entire opening, closing, and everything in between. Is that right? Is that right there? Well, I don't know if you know pigs can fly, but did you know that George Washington was our first president? In the end, case closed, not guilty. Send Donna home. Can you imagine Jackie Fulford and her absolute, like, she is the least personable. I thought Zellman was bad when he was like grilling the jury, in my opinion, when they were like, when they were doing their voir dire. I felt like just the way he was talking to them was super fucking condescending. And he was like picking people out specifically to answer questions, which I thought was like yuck. And they don't want to talk to you because you're being mean to them. You're making them feel like they're idiots. Like, that's not the way to win friends. But, freaking, can you imagine you losing a loved one and Jackie Fulford's like, sorry that your mom died. Like, that's probably exactly how. What, baby? Okay, I'll open the door in 1 second, okay? Okay, give me 1 sec, okay? Can you even imagine? And so I was on her website. Okay, her place is called Young and Fulford. I'll go on. I'm on her website, and you know how they have like the little drop down menu and you can pick all the stuff. So she has this thing called like community events. I'm like, what do they do in community events? They show like a picture of a parade. I'm like, do they like weekend at Bernie's, like the freaking, the most recently dead person, and like parade them fucking through the street, like her and whoever, whoever the hell she freaking owns the thing with? Like, that's the first thing I thought. Then she has a freaking thing on there that says merchandise. And I'm like, merchandise? Does she have t-shirts? Are there t-shirts that can I buy a Young and Fulford fucking t-shirt? So I go there. Coffins, guys. She's calling coffins merchandise. I'm sorry, I don't know exactly what the right word would be for that, but I wouldn't pick merchandise for coffins and urns. That's just my little fucking side note. Insane. Yes. Merch, and it's not sweatshirts. It's not sweatshirts. It's fucking insane. Yes, I agree. And apparently, Joel on STS is going to have Sprinkler Guy, as he calls him, on. I'm like, oh, I wish I was like I could have snugged up to one of the jurors too if I would have been at the trial. I'll be interviewing somebody at Wendy's trial as soon as they get off. I'm gonna chase them into the parking lot. Hi, can you give me an interview now? You've been released. Thanks very much. Bye. But she also says about what she thinks of Wendy and how she thinks that the state has enough to go after Wendy and how they all think Wendy was guilty too, which is ho, 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 ho. I can't. Okay. All right. So I think that's all I have for you guys. Dora, does Jackie sleep over at work in a week often? Probably. Or maybe it's oversized like her suits are. I hated her so much. She was the absolute worst. I really. What, baby? You did? What is it? You don't know? Okay, 1 second. 1 second. All right, 1 second. Let me put on a short. Now let's watch Donna have a fit over her over her verdict.
The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself.
The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder.
Twinsies.
But the
When this guy was finally washing the
defendant At this time, I will publish the verdict. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1 of the indictment, first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself. Count 2. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 2 of the indictment, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Count 3. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 3 of the indictment, solicitation to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder. And it is signed and dated by the foreperson. 1 moment. Members of the jury, the bailiff will escort you to the jury room.
Please, you have headphones.
Yeah, Donna wasn't putting her headphones on.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't do it yet.
Here, say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Mrs. Adelson, while this was
I
not
did.
the outcome,
I finally told him
there will not
it
be
inside my
further
room.
outbursts in front of
Yeah,
the
you
jury.
find your cocoa
If you
melon.
cannot control yourself,
I said on my bed.
So what do you think about Donna?
I back her and down on the computer and do the work.
Yeah, she's not going to do work anymore because she's going to prison.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is funny. It is funny. We all find it funny.
What, Mom?
We all find it funny.
What?
So
To tell
cute.
them, and tell them to do that.
Okay, and so Hurie
Mama,
E.
I want paper to draw on.
I'll give you paper to draw on. So Hurie E said this yesterday
What's
that
on top?
she thinks that she
What's
figured
on
out.
top? It's it.
Yeah. That she figured out what Donna says right after she says, "Oh my God," right after the verdict is released. And I think she's exactly right. I think she says, "I'm an innocent woman." 100%. Okay, let's go back and watch because I think.
make something, Alan.
Okay.
And I want you to make something.
Okay. Whoops. All right. Watch her mouth right after she says, "Oh my God."
At this time, I will publish the verdict. We the jury find as follows as the count one of the indictment, first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty.
That's happy.
No, she's not happy.
Mrs. Adelson, control yourself.
Okay, right there. Does it not look like she says I'm an innocent woman?
make
I'm going to back it up. Okay, watch one more time.
Follows as the count one of the indictment, first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself. Count two. We, the jury, find as follows as the count two of the indictment. Conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The defendant...
Is that or is that what she says? I am convinced that's what she says, is I'm an innocent woman, right in between. Yeah, she definitely says, oh my God, like a trillion times. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to play the Wendy video one more time.
Here.
And then I'm going to sign off with you guys, okay?
And another one.
Okay, I'll do another one. Thank you. Can you say thank you for joining us today?
Thank you for joining us today.
Say, here's the Wendy song.
Here's the Wendy song.
Say, arrest Wendy.
Arrest Wendy.
Da da da, da da da, do do do. Da da da, da da da, oh do do. Wendy, 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 what shall we do with you? You thought you planned the perfect crime. It was just too good to be true. You say you're a lawyer and how smart you are, but you should have thought twice before hopping in your car. Arrogance, excitement, both got in the way, and you royally fucked up on that super special day. You needed to see and you just couldn't wait. It even made you late for your little lunch date. You thought maybe I'll go, just take a little look. You just had to go and see the life you just took. Wendy, Wendy, you should have thought. You sure messed this one up, you just can't be taught. You couldn't help it, just needed to see. Thought you could talk your way out, they'll never catch me. You're too rich, you're too smart, you're too pretty, you're on fire. And one thing's for sure, you're the biggest liar. You wanted it your way, you're such a brat. You think so highly of yourself, an aristocrat. Had to go live in Miami, you thought it was the best. Trust me, you'll still be with your family in prison like the rest. First Charlie, then Donna, and baby, you're next. You shouldn't have sent that, this is sweet text. So get your shit together, you'll look good in prison blues. This is what happens when you never think you lose. Wendy, Wendy, you should have had some self-control. You were the only one in tally, that was your only role. Donna will wash the money, and Charlie's one to think. But you, my blue-eyed baby, you are the weakest link. You're too rich, you're too smart, you're too pretty, you're on fire. But one thing for sure, you are the biggest liar. Sweetie, you're a lawyer, so when you take the stand, you should rehearse a little better, say your lines as they were planned. I know you get thrown off when Georgia talks about your book. The Sad that Adolescents didn't win.